look at that. That could be it serious. That's something you don't like to see. That looked like a piece of the bottom flying off the hull of the Connection. And hovering above them, that's Philadelphia with Al, his pilot, in camera 2. And Jeff in camera 1 with Vic and Dave flying for camera 1 is on the other side. One on the starboard, one on the port, really highlighting the Connection right now. Certainly hope that piece of the hull that fell off or the bottom will not be a problem. They seem to have slowed a tiny bit, but I can certainly understand the caution. They'd love to finish. Close up of Philadelphia and Al over there in the freeze frame helicopter number 1. Being filmed by Jeffrey in helicopter number 2. The freeze frame video staff up in the air, bringing it to you live and up front with action. Howard and Jeffrey on the other side. Vic and Dave doing his flying. Coming from the starboard and coming from the port, it looks super. There you see up front there the piece of the deck that came off. Right there, you see it below the N on Connection and under their number D11. But they still seem to be maintaining a good run. The Gonzaleses in the boat known as the Connection. Now we come up on an A-boat. That's Trans-Tech Special A24. It's a 22-foot white Apache powered by a single 200 horsepower Johnson outboard engine. This boat is owned and driven by Ted Jones from Oakland Park, Florida, and he's got Ted Turner as his navigator today. The Trans-Tech Special looking very good right here. Right now they're leading the pack. They're holding off Team Gulfwind and Peterson's East Coast Rider. A24, the Trans-Tech Special, running in at speeds over 60 to 65 miles per hour right now, which for these small boats in these seas is very good racing. Bear in mind, they only have a single outboard on this 24-foot boat, and they look super. The 22 Apache, known as Trans-Tech Special. We wish them all the luck as we start bringing it home, and they head for the checkered flag in the closing stages of today's race, the Trans-Tech Special. And right there at the top of your picture, that's Alligator Light. And earlier today, Vic and Dave, oh, look at that right there, big jump. But as I was saying on Alligator Light, freeze frame has John Burrell and Paul Petulia shooting stills. They were dropped earlier by Vic and Dave on that. That is some move when you look at it. One pontoon was on and one was off, and they were able to get on the tower to take some exciting stills for freeze frame. As we round the checkpoint around Alligator Light, the Connection right there, and Lone Star Express is a little ahead in the picture. That's a Trans-Tech Special there who we saw earlier. Very good run by them today. In other classes, Danger Zone and Spirit of America still dueling it out. Bahamas Express, who you saw earlier, holding off the Fish Peddler. Good jump, good throttle. Good shot right there, the back of that boat. Crystal clear with that camera work. Everything in sync today, the boats, the weather, and freeze frame video, bringing it to you live. Get a good idea of those trim tabs, getting that boat out of the water. From the white boat to the yellow boat, that's C6, the Lone Star Express. This is a 31X caliber, powered by 3 220 horsepower Mercury outboard engines. This boat is owned and throttled by Dan H. Rocco of Houston, Texas, and driving for them today is Daniel Rocco. The Roccos in the Lone Star Express, coming up from the Lone Star State of Texas. The Excalibur hull, it's been around for many years, a proven race hull, and of course Mercury Engine's doing a great job for so many years in the high performance end of offshore racing. The Rocco is relatively new on the campaign trail out here in Oprah, but it's certainly great to see them come all the way from Texas to race. They look very good. They've got a lot of heart and good sportsmanlike qualities. We wish them a lot of luck for 87 and as they go into 88. The Roccos from Houston, Texas in Lone Star Express. Starting to crank it together right now and make a move on Team Gulfwind, who is up in front in your screen in the middle of the picture. Some hard running right here by the Roccos. A61, the 21-foot superboat owned by George Peterson from Lindenhurst, New York. This boat is known as East Coast Rider. Oh, and he is doing some riding right now. Whoa, look at that one. This is what that A division is all about. These smaller boats take up pounding, but Peterson has been doing it for many years, and right now he is one of the best. And he is now currently your 1987 national champion. Tremendous bit of work by Peterson from Lindenhurst, New York. This 21-foot superboat is powered by a single 200 horsepower Mercury engine outboard, and it is rigged and maintained at East Coast Marine in New York. Along for the ride today is Richard Clark, who's the navigator for Peterson's East Coast Rider. So with a national championship in class under his belt, Peterson is looking to have a good run today, and he's right there. He's dueling it out with Trans-Tech Special, and George is unofficially in second, and he is trying to hold off Gulfwind in third place. We're coming near to the finish, so they're going all out. Who's it going to be in this class? Trans-Tech Special or East Coast Rider? Moments away, we will find out. Other classes have already finished today's race, and we'll be waiting to give you some updated results of the final finishes for today, as well as the Oprah campaign for 87. Boy, look at this guy go. Peterson's going all out. Good bit of throttling, no holds barred right now. This boat is doing everything it can to really move. He's coming out of the water, pushing it very hard. Really pushing that envelope. And on the outside up front, Trans-Tech Special is in Peterson's sights. He's giving it all it's got. That's Team Gulfwind, Trans-Tech a little earlier. There's Trans-Tech Special. So right now you have Team Gulfwind in first, Trans-Tech Special on the outside, and Peterson's East Coast Rider neck and neck. Team Gulfwind in the middle of your picture being passed by Trans-Tech Special on the outside, and he's dueling door to door with George Peterson. After 60 some odd miles of offshore racing, you've got two boats coming down to the wire, in which could be a photo finish. Although Gulfwind was in your picture, they were down a lap. Oh, Peterson's really moving it hard. Look at him go and make that course correction, bouncing around like crazy. What more can you say, or what more could you hope for as a race fan? They're coming down to the wire, and they're neck and neck. It's going to be a drag race. Who's it going to be, Trans-Tech Special or East Coast Rider? They're going for the finish now, and it's throttles all the way down and pushing to the max. Peterson edging out slightly. But Trans-Tech not one to give too much ground. Peterson really running hard. However, Trans-Tech Special is hanging tough, and he's right there with Peterson. They're going for the flag now. Peterson displaying his championship form at Isle Murata. Look at him drag that boat. He's really working hard. The engine cover seemed to have come loose on that one jump. Pushing this superboat with everything it's got. Peterson still holding off the hard-charging Trans-Tech Special. There's the distance, 30 to 40 yards, maybe 50 yards differential between these two boats. Can Peterson hold him off? He's really got that boat trimmed in, pushing it very, very hard. I'm sure we'll hold together. That Superboat and Merc motor have been together for many years, and George just knows what it can do. And there must have been the move. High up in the sky we saw Trans-Tec overtake Peterson. With the finish line well in sight, hundreds of yards left. A tough break for George Peterson, an East Coast rider, but a tremendous victory for Trans-Tec Special. There you see him crossing the start-finish line. No more than 50 yards separating these two boats after 70 some odd miles of offshore.